The time has come. We're about to see what they have in store for the 8th anniversary of Dead by Daylight. I'm not even going to waste any time. Let's just get into it. Normally, I would like to react to this with a camera, but unfortunately, I do not have proper lighting. So it just looks awful, so I'm not going to bother. Almost time, though. I forgot to unmute the tab. Oops.
A place to rent. I know renters when I see them. Apartments.com. We can help you get into a lovely 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom.
You know, I should just...
Apartments.com.
Can I do that?
Place to find a place.
No, you can't do that. That isn't looping right now. I should probably turn this up, huh? I can't turn this up. That's as loud as it gets. Alright, bet. Trailer time. This is the trailer they posted to tease the 8th anniversary. We've already seen this, but it's still cool. Ghost Arcade. Bro, it wasn't that funny.
Don't you walk away from me, sir.
Oh man, that is so beautiful. I really like that.
I've only been playing this game since a little bit before Wesker came out, right after Dredge. It's still insane how much this game has actually been through over the years, and how much of it I wasn't part of. But we're here now. Will technically be the 2nd anniversary I've been a part of now. Hell of a trailer, though. That is really well done. I guess it's not really a trailer, but you know what I mean. It's still well done, put together well.
We are live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That trailer gets me so hyped.
So
It
hyped.
really
Oh my
does.
goodness.
It's
It's so good.
really
And the
well
jump scare
done.
at the end is necessary.
It is.
So, hi, everybody around the world, and YouTube, and Twitch, and OpenRec. We're in
Hello,
Japanese, we're in
Mr. Pope.
Portuguese, we are in Spanish, and of course, English, because that's what we're capable of. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is DVD's official 8th anniversary celebration.
Yes, and it's truly amazing to already know that we're on our 3rd live stream of the year, with only more to come. And we just have to say thank you on behalf of the entire Dead by Daylight team for 8 amazing years of support from community worldwide.
Yep. So today we are going to be looking at everything that's coming over the coming year. We're going to be starting pretty soon after our little intro here with something that we already teased a few days ago, and that's Dungeons and Dragons coming
Hell
to
yeah.
Dead by Daylight. So it's going to be a full chapter. We're going to dive into that, and in fact,
It
after
is a
the
full
show
chapter.
today, that will be playable on Steam on the PTB.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Ooh.
But this wouldn't be a Dead by Daylight anniversary
Bet.
live stream without a couple of surprises. So you're definitely going to want to stay for the full broadcast to see everything we've got to reveal today. But we've also got a live Q&A. So if you have any questions, please do make sure to drop them in your respective chats so we can answer as many as possible at the end of the stream. But let's go ahead and take a look at what our run of show is for today.
Yep, we've got a great one lined up. We're going to be joined by our
Year
buds,
9
Steph
roadmap,
and
gameplay
Justin,
improvements through
to
chapter,
walk
well
you
as
through
ahead,
our
and
Year
in-game
9,
celebrations
which
and
is a
Q&A.
crazy number.
Bet.
Year 9 content and design roadmap. And then after that, Senior Product Manager Derek is going to join us.
We're watching
to
the whole
talk about
thing,
upcoming
chat.
Gameplay and quality of life
PTB's not
improvements
up yet
coming to the game,
anyway.
including one that you're not going to want to miss.
Yes, and then we'll have Dave and Janik here to reveal everything coming with the latest chapters for Dead by Daylight. Then we're going to have some updates about the other projects we've got in the world of DBD.
I hate when they use words like that. You're not going to want to miss this, bruh.
And an unnamed multiplayer PvE game.
Don't do
by
that to me.
Midwinter. Then we'll have Justin, a completely different Justin from the one Eric talked about, coming in to break down this year's in-game shenanigans for the anniversary. And last, we'll have our Q&A, which, once again, drop your questions in the chat so we can answer as many as possible. And who knows, we might have some other little surprises.
And while you're dropping your questions, we thought we would drop some content on you. You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
I just made that up. Twitch drops are back. So if you've watched our streams
true.
before, we like to offer Twitch drops to our viewers, and today is no exception. So they're live right now, and you can get them by connecting your behavior account to your Twitch account. So there should be a QR code you can see. There should be links in the Twitch chat to jump over and get that hooked up if you're not already.
Yes, and if you're
I've already
new
done
to
that, so
Twitch
we should
drops
be
with
all
Dead
right.
by Daylight, all you need to know is that by watching any Dead by Daylight stream in the Twitch directory, you'll be accruing watch time, which will allow you to claim 3 of the Twitch drops we have active today until May 28th. The first one, if you've already been with us since the start of our stream, you're already on your way to claiming, which is going to be the Totem in-game badge. And then after this, if you watch any other Dead by Daylight stream, for 4 hours, you'll get the Crimson Hue in-game banner. And then lastly, for 8 years,
The Crimson Hue banner is
watching
pretty
time,
sick.
Yep.
you'll be able to get the Green Veil.
I don't like that
Welcome
they
Green
up
Veil
the
in-game
hours that
banner.
you need for this,
Yep.
though.
So enjoy those drops. But
8 hours,
we
bruh.
mentioned surprises, and we've got one to kick the show off.
I guess I'm leaving
with.
on Starver's stream up.
So the
or
first
someone's
of which
stream up.
is actually a new game.
Oh my God!
We-
What?
Oh.
What the?
We've got a game that we haven't told anybody about yet. It's from the world of Dead by Daylight.
So this isn't casting of Frank Stone, it's something new.
Faces, and most importantly, it is super duper fun, and I think you'll be surprised. So let's take a look.
Yo? New DBD game just dropped? Hi, guys. What? Are they playing the board game? Oh, they're getting sucked into it. What the fog?
Well, you've done it now, Dwight.
What?
You just had to touch the first board game. Now, you and your
This is
friend
kinda
are
cool. Hold on.
trapped in our world, and danger is
Is it a
everywhere.
roguelike?
But don't despair. Use your new
Oh, it's totally a
magic
roguelike,
abilities
isn't
against
it?
the swarms of monsters that want you dead. Run, jump, and shoot to collect blood points to repair generators, increasing your powers along the way. Unlock the door to escape together. Did you just die? It's not over yet. Use
Oh.
spells to keep your friend alive until they can revive you. Do you and your friend have what it takes to survive?
It's kinda cool.
Ponder this as you ask yourselves, what the fuck?
Oh, it's out now. Get the game for free with the behavior account. Fun. That's kind of cool, actually. Hold
oh my
on.
God, that song is so earwormy. He's gonna get stuck
I'm
in
gonna
my
have to tell
head.
Devin about that.
The game itself is like the guitar solo of video games.
Yeah, like I'm already gonna walk away and just okay. But anyway, yes, you saw that correctly. What the Fog is now available, and it's not only that, but it's free for current behavior account holders and new subscribers. But we do have a limit of free keys, so you're gonna want to make sure that you make your behavior account after the stream, of course, or in another tab. Just don't leave. But go ahead and grab
Yeah, let me
that,
go,
claim it on your account, and if
let me
you're
go
unable
do that real quick.
to, then you're able to get it on Steam, which is exclusively on Steam for $4.99 USD.
Yep.
Oh, that's not
and
bad.
As you might expect with the drops, now a free game. A lot of people watching the stream. There might be some load on our behavior login system. So if there is,
Yeah,
bear with
there's
us.
about to
We
be.
will get you in the door, and don't worry, you'll get the game. So as you might have been able to tell from that trailer, What the Fog, which is just the best title, is a two-person co-op roguelite. The simple
Yeah.
goal of surviving and escaping with each increasingly difficult level. So to do that, you go head-to-head with swarms of monsters and bosses, and as we mentioned, lots of heavy metal guitar.
Yes. So Eric and I got to play it before launch, and honestly, it was so crazy fun. Like, I had that song stuck in my head for weeks. But you need to make sure that you get your hands on it so that you can have fun, survive, and then get the fog out.
Nice. So that out of
Funny.
the way. See, you weren't expecting that. A lot of people are like, wait,
No,
what?
I was not ready for that.
We're going to dive into the show.
That's really cool.
So we're going to hand things over to Stefan and Justin to talk about Dead by Daylight's Year 9 roadmap.
What do we got? I wonder if it's going to be as packed as last year is. Probably more so, right? If we ever get there. Okay, cool. I guess we'll be waiting on this screen for a second. There we go.
Thank you for joining us. It's great to be back with you celebrating Dead by Daylight's 8th year anniversary. I'm Stéphane Beauchamp, head of production.
And I am Justin Brown, product director. Really excited to be here with you today to talk a little bit about Dead by Daylight's Year 9 roadmap.
I'm going to take a second here at the top of the show to give a big shout out to our absolutely phenomenal team that's working on the game day in, day out. They are the reason we are here with you today and celebrate 8 amazing years of Dead by Daylight. Before going any further, I just want to address something that's probably going to get talked about quite a bit in the chats across the different channels. We know since the last update, there's been a rubber banding issue that's been plaguing the game. The team has been working extremely hard at it over the last few weeks. We have a tentative fix that the team has been working on that we're hoping to test on the PTB later today. If everything is successful with that, we will be deploying that fix to live, and hopefully it should improve the situation, but it's still to be confirmed, so keep an eye on our channels for that. We'll keep you all posted about this.
It's at least something.
Moving into the future a little bit, the coming year for Dead by Daylight is going to be huge, and that's saying something coming off of our biggest years to date.
Yeah, how are they
Since the
going to
last
top what they've been
anniversary,
doing,
we have
though?
released
I need to
amazing
know.
licensed content such as Alien, Chucky, Alan Wake, and a personal favorite of
Like,
mine,
they really have
Nick
had a
Cage,
lot going
such
on.
an amazing addition to the game. On top of that, we've also released our most popular original chapter to date, All Things Wicked.
Of course, and we can't forget, we did the Halloween event, which was bigger and better than ever with the introduction
That
of the
Halloween
Void.
event is probably still the
This
best
year,
event
we
they've
introduced
done.
the concept of modifiers in Dead by Daylight, starting in February. Lights Out. We followed it with My Little Oni, and soon, later this week, we'll introduce Chaos Shuffle, the third one. We took a few steps towards improving the player experience between anti-face camp, blood web UX improvements, the killer FOV slider, Survivor DC bots, and even the search bar. So there's a lot there. And finally, we've taken a few big steps towards increasing our transparency, our communication with regular live streams on each of our content releases thus far.
Enough talking about the past. Let's dive into the future and what's really coming up.
Yeah,
for
please
this year.
show me what's in
We're
store.
happy to
I'm really
announce today
curious,
that
actually.
We have 6 new chapters currently in the works.
6?
And 2 of those chapters will be survivor-only chapters for this year.
Ooh.
On top of that, we'll have the usual 4 new tomes that are going to be coming out.
Okay, so
throughout
June
the year.
is
As we've
that
talked a little bit and teased.
there's a
even
mid-chapter
earlier last week,
survivor.
The first chapter that's going to be coming out is Dungeons
Next-
and Dragons.
wow.
And we're actually going to deep dive that in a
Then
soon to
August
come
is also
segment,
licensed. Hey, go back. I wasn't done
shortly
reading.
after this one, and it really promises to bring great gameplay. And
There were
new
at least
characters to
3
the world
things
of Dead by
licensed in
Daylight.
there.
Of course, we're going to follow that with a licensed survivor, a character who truly embodies the meaning of that word. After that, an iconic Killer Survivor duel will be coming into the fog, and if you stick around to the end of the show, you're going to get a little preview as to what that will be. We'll
What do you
finish
mean by
off
that?
2024 with an original Killer and Survivor chapter, and we'll finish off the Year 9 roadmap with a licensed Killer-only chapter, followed by an original Survivor-only.
Licensed
It's a lot
killer
of stuff
only
coming
is
up.
crazy. Hold on.
Moving a bit away from our content roadmap, we're going to take a closer look at the 4 pillars out of which the year will be based on.
Yeah,
For
that's
those of you who have been with
I'm
us
excited
for a long
now,
time,
hold
you'll
on.
see that there's consistency throughout the years with the 4
This
pillars
year's gonna
that
be
we're focusing
crazy.
on, but we're really adjusting the contents of each so that we're working on the features that have the most value and the most interest to all of our players in ways where we can expand the game further and further.
Of course, and we're going to start off with the trust and security pillar. Firstly, we're thrilled with the response to our regular broadcasts, and we're really happy to let you know you can fully expect more to come as we progress throughout the year, accompanying all of our major releases. Security is a topic we rarely talk about publicly, for good reason. But one thing I will inform you all of is last year we set out to start tackling this AFK bots problem that we see, especially in some regions of the game. Phase 1 had very promising results, and we're certainly going to be taking that forward another step into Phase 2 in the coming year.
good.
Our next 2 pillars, live balance and quality of life, we won't discuss too much. Of course, you can expect regular live balance updates throughout the year and new quality of life. But my friend and colleague Derek will be coming up in the gameplay improvement segment to cover more on that topic, including an announcement on one of the most highly requested features ever in Dead by Daylight.
This one's going to be really, really exciting. Stay tuned
Cross
for that, because
progression.
that is really something interesting coming up. Last but not least, our 4th pillar, events evolution. Events have always been a fundamental part of the game, especially the seasonal events. And this is something we're going to keep pushing forward over the coming years. With this year, we're starting to do a bit of a split where we're going to have our events happening on a separate matchmaking queue, which essentially means that at any time there's an event ongoing, you can decide to still play normal Dead by Daylight if that's what you're looking for, but you can also go into the event-specific queue and play some of that gameplay. This is really going to allow us to push gameplay further and further away from the typical way Dead by Daylight normally works, and it's going to be a very interesting way for us to approach events in a different way. On top of that, we can also expect more modifiers to make it in the game, whether it's the one we've talked about just before that are going to be revisited throughout the year, or introducing new modifiers that are either tweaks on something or something completely different. But modifiers is just a little sliver of what we're planning to do this year, and I think we have something a little bigger that might be coming up.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm
What you mean by
so
that?
happy to be here and let you guys know that
Something
for the first
bigger
time
than the
ever,
modifiers? Are we
this
getting
summer, Dead by
2v8?
Daylight
Please
will
tell
have
me
a
we're
new
getting
mode,
2v8.
Not modifier, but a mode coming.
Please
to
tell
you
me it's
all.
2v8.
We've been listening and hearing your feedback.
Please.
And I'm really happy to let you know that this summer, replacing Scorching Barbecue will be the first ever time-limited 2v8 mode in Dead by Daylight.
Yes!
We'll be doing a full breakdown
Let's
of what this
fucking
mode is when we
go!
get closer to the release. But for now, I'm going to thank
Oh,
my
fuck
friend
the
Stefan
barbecue
for
event,
joining
bro.
me,
That's so much
invite my
better.
friend
Hell
Matt
yes.
to the couch to talk a little bit more about this, and here's a snippet of what's to come.
Oh, hell yeah. Finally. They're doing it. God, thank you. Holy shit, I'm so hyped. They're finally doing it. Oh, this... Whoa. Whoa. So everyone gets, like, pyramid head style cages. I saw them getting stomped into the ground, but I wasn't expecting that. Those look really cool.
Boom. Thank you for joining us, Matt. Well, I know
Bro.
it's still early, and everything is subject to change.
They need to
I
make
think
that
it's gonna be
permanent.
really fun
There's
to sort
so
of let
many
the
people I want to
community
play
in
that
on
with.
Some of our plans for this upcoming 2v8 introduction.
Absolutely. Thanks, Justin. So yeah, 2v8 is coming to DBD. This is a new game mode, which is
Oh my
really
god,
cool.
yes.
Other gameplay events that we've done before, so Lights Out, My Little Oni, soon Chaos Shuffle. These are what we're calling modifiers.
This is a
And modifiers
mode.
basically take a DBD match, change a few things, but ultimately you're still playing DBD. With this new game mode, 2v8, we're fundamentally changing the way that you play Dead by Daylight. In this particular case, there's 2 killers, 8 survivors, and a bunch of new changes that we're going to get into very shortly. The focus with 2v8, we really wanted to hone in on what's exciting and fun and chaotic with DBD.
Please tell me there's no limitations.
A party mode
Let me
kind
play
of vibe,
whoever I
rather than
want.
something that's
Please.
super competitive. It's also worth mentioning that the way that we're building this, it's an iterative process, right? And this is just the first iteration. So we'll be looking to add more content, more gameplay in the future based on community feedback.
Absolutely, and I'm super excited to see what everybody says about this mode when it comes out.
Dude,
So
I
first,
cannot
let's break down a
wait.
few of the key changes that we know are going to be coming for 2v8 this summer. I mean, of course, there's still generators, there's still exit gates, there's just more of them. We've made 5 maps bigger to accommodate all of the action, all of the chaos.
All right.
And we're also doing away with perks in this mode, instead introducing a new sort of 2v8 exclusive system called classes for survivors.
Classes?
That's right. Yeah, so when it comes to survivors, basically once you've chosen your character, you can select and equip a player class. And this class is effectively your power for the match, and it helps players identify what your role is within the team. So instead of mixing and matching perks, instead we really wanted to focus on a particular playstyle for this, and whether it's generator repair, healing, looping, speed, that kind of thing, that's what we're really going for with these classes.
Of course, and there's also just cowering in the corner, which is my own preferred playstyle for Survivor.
You and myself, you teammates, buddy.
A little differently for killers. You'll be able to choose from one of the 5 original killers, each with their own specific gameplay. Killers obviously have powers, so they don't have classes in this mode, but we will be introducing a new mechanic, which is a team power. For example, if you are the Wraith, when you cloak yourself, if your teammate is within a certain radius of you, they will also get the undetectable status effect, allowing you to coordinate a team stealth attack. Should make for some entertainment. The reason that we're focusing on the 5 original killers is just to make sure that this is as accessible as possible. They're all free. Everybody can play them. Everybody can have fun. We want you to enjoy the content and give us your feedback.
I mean,
and in my opinion, the best part of this
why not just let people play what they want?
It's the first time ever that success and failure as a killer does not rely solely on your shoulders. You have a teammate to sort of benefit from, learn from, or even, blame.
That kind of sucks, but it's still 2v8.
So
I don't care.
Together, it's just going to make the match so much more fun, so much more efficient.
Absolutely.
Can you pick the same killers, though? Probably not, right?
For this mode, we really wanted to keep the action pace and the momentum flowing. During our play tests, we found that the process of downing a survivor, picking them up, carrying them to the hook, it really started to slow things down for this mode in particular.
I believe it.
So we're doing away with hooks as well. There's no hooks in 2v8. Instead, once a killer downs a survivor, they'll be able to send them to a cage. This works very similar to Pyramid Head. It will teleport the survivor to another part of the map, away from the killers. And of course, this still counts as hook states. So once you've been hooked 3 times, you'll be out of the match. And as Justin said before, there will be 5 original killers coming to this iteration of this game mode. But we will be looking to add more as we
that means Nurse
and add more to it. Of course, we'll also be
Trapper,
improving
Wraith,
the game as it
Billy,
goes along.
Nurse, Huntress.
So content will be coming in, as well as updates to classes and gameplay.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, Matt. And to all of you at home,
still can't wait
if you
for
want
it.
to learn more about 2v8, please
think
join us in our July
genuinely
live
gonna be
stream.
really fun.
We'll hope you're
I'm just a little
looking forward to
bummed
this
out
year
that the
9.
killers
For
are being
now,
limited.
Back to you, Eric and Dork.
I get it, but at the same time, man, that kind of sucks. Oh well, I guess we're getting what we wanted. We're finally getting 2v8 in this fucking game, and I cannot wait for it. Oh, that might be the most exciting thing they've talked about, and it's just beginning.
Oh my god, that robe map.
Great segment. Great beard,
Yeah.
Stefan. People were loving the wet beard in chat. But the real story, 2v8.
2v8, yes.
that's
I
crazy.
cannot wait to dodge hatchets
Bro.
and chainsaws at the same time.
I can't wait for our killers to finally have friends that they can play with.
Get some friends in the fog. Forge friendships in the fog.
But that was a great segment to watch. I loved the reactions in chat. I think the guys did a really good job of explaining this is the first iteration, and there's going to be a lot of changes based on community feedback. So that's why we're not just flipping the switch and making it permanent all of a sudden. You need to actually.
I mean, you should make it permanent. Just update
we're
it
using the word mode, which means a lot. So pay attention
as it goes.
and
You
speaking
know.
of pay attention, the website.
But I get it.
That's a transition. That doesn't make any sense. But the website for What the Fog has been overwhelmed by demand.
Yeah, I believe it.
As predicted. People love that cute little game. So we're working on it. Stay tuned. Don't worry. We have lots and lots of keys for it. So just as soon as we're able to tell you it's back up, we'll give you a mention on the stream here or in the chat.
Yeah. We definitely know you guys want to get your hands on it, but what we can do is tell you about something you can get your hands on today.
Yes, and so recently, I think it was December, we released 3 DLC packs. They're called Maddening Darkness, Old Wounds, and Macabre Tales. That was a way for players to get a big bunch of our older content all in 1 or 3 goes. And so we're actually going to be doing that again.
Yeah, so this pack is actually going to pick up exactly where the last one left off, which is going to be the
this
Endless
year, right?
Hunt pack.
Endless Hunt.
And in this pack, you're going to get 9 playable characters, starting with Portrait of Murder, Roots of Dread, Forge in the Fog, and Tools of Torment. And along with this pack is going to be all the additional outfits and DLC exclusive items. But of course, if you don't want to get the pack, they will be individually marked down in the in-game store, so you can get them there.
Yes, so that Endless Hunt pack is actually available right now. It is the best way, especially if you're a newer player to Dead by Daylight, to get a big bunch of great content. So that out of the way, we're going to keep the train rolling. Next up, we're going to be welcoming Derek, right where you're sitting. He's going to tell us all about gameplay improvements and quality of life improvements coming to Dead by Daylight, including a very big one that people have requested for ages.
Cross progression, baby.
Talk to Derek.
Get his ass in here.
Welcome back,
That was quick.
everybody, and welcome Derek to our stream for the first time. Derek is from our product management team. He works with the dev team on creating all sorts of cool quality of life updates, gameplay updates, and he's here to tell you about some good ones today. Derek, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Going to be even better after this segment when we hear what you get to say. So I already know what you've got to say, but I think people are going to be excited to hear about it. The upcoming challenge system. This isn't something we've told people about. Why don't you tell them about it right now? How's it going to benefit our players?
So we really wanted to deliver new in-game challenges to players and new ways for them to be constantly rewarded outside of just tomes and archives. So we're going to be introducing a new challenge system, which is a system of challenges, hence the name.
Perfect.
That players are going to be able to complete completely passively. That means that players don't need to actively select the challenge that they want to complete, and they can complete multiple of them at the same time.
Okay.
Initially, we're going to start with daily challenges, weekly challenges, and event challenges. And later on, we want to expand those into other parts of the game as well. We think that this is going to be a great way for players to be constantly rewarded just for logging in and playing DBD. And it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody.
I think that's a really great addition. I think people in the community are going to really appreciate just being rewarded for doing what they already do, not having to go out and seek it, but just it's happening in the background at all times. That's really great. So another great thing that we're adding actually is how we talk to our players. That's the main job of my team, is talking and listening to our players. But we do it out in the world. We do it on social media. We do it on TikTok and Twitter and other places. But in-game is obviously the best place to talk to people, and you've got some updates there.
Yeah, we're here to make the players' lives easier and your life easier as well. So we're going to be introducing a new inbox-based system that will help connect players with the news that you have to announce, including patch notes, announcements, rewards, and a lot more. That way, players will see less pop-ups when they launched into the game, and they'll be able to get into their games quicker. And overall, the players will be able to stay connected with the world of DBD and the news that you have to announce.
Yeah, and it gives us new tools, right? Like
That's
being
pretty
able
cool.
to tell people the patch notes in detail is something we couldn't do before, and now we can. So again, you don't have to go find it on the web, but you'll be able to get it in the game. Pop-ups, not pop-ups, but notifications for rewards as well is another great improvement. So really good work there by the team. But we're not done. Actually, this is something people are familiar with, the Finisher Mori system. We tested it out a while back in PTB, got a ton of great feedback from the community. The team took that feedback, went back to the shop to tinker with it, and we've got the final version to tell people about now.
Right. I love Finisher Moris. I think they're a really amazing showcase for how deadly and gruesome our killers can be. But we also acknowledge that there was some room for improvement from the survivors.
There was a lot.
So like you said, we've taken the feedback, we've reiterated on it, and tried to land on what was the best player experience. So, in a coming update, Finisher Moris are going to become a baseline feature for all killers in the game. That means that killers are going to have access to the Finisher Moris by default, but they're only going to be able to use them on the last remaining survivor.
Okay.
That way, if the killer is able to successfully pull it off, we get an exciting conclusion to the match, and the survivors can feel that the game's ended in a fair way, and this match went smoothly, and it was a really exciting.
So still no more giving people hatch.
Mori offerings are also going to be updated.
I mean,
to
you
instead give
can
blood points, so that
just if you down them,
it'll be a more
can't.
rewarding experience for killers if they're able to pull it off.
So the killer's going to want to land that at the end.
Yes.
It happens at the end, like you said, so we're not killing the flow of the match. I think it's a really great balance from where we started and the feedback that we got, so kudos to you and the team. And that's all we've got from you today.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you have to go, but the show is far from over. And
I guess
we're going to hear about the new chapter coming to Dead by Daylight.
I really thought they
stay
were going
tuned,
to talk about
everybody,
cross
and
progression,
thank you
but
for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I guess that's later, or just not at all.
I'm already so excited for the challenges and the Finisher Mori.
I just want to shout out Derek for dropping so casually such a highly anticipated feature with cross progression.
Yes, cross progression is
I just
finally
noticed the
coming.
Vecna picture behind
and it's
Eric.
another reason for you to make
That's
your
really
behavior
funny.
account. So not only will you be able to get
And
What
by
the
I
Fog
noticed,
for
I
free,
mean
but
someone
you also
pointed it out
be
to me.
prepping yourself for cross progression, which we know that's something you're once again going to have to be waiting to get your hands on. But we can now talk about merch, which you can get your hands on right now. So with the merch store,
speaking of
we've got
merch,
the
chat, you can
always
get my
popular
merch down
mystery
below.
box is coming back for this anniversary.
You can go
and
check out
obviously
my
because of
shop.
The name, I can't tell you what's in the box. Maybe I'll try, But anyway, in the boxes, you're going to see 4 very exclusive DBD items specifically for this release. It's also going to include an art print where some of them are actually signed by our creative director, Dave Richard.
Which is pretty amazing. I had Dave sign my chest backstage. I won't be sharing
He
that
what?
to save you all, but he's got a great signature, one of the best. It's a really cool piece too. If you haven't gotten a mystery box in the past, it's always just a fun unboxing process. So follow the QR code on screen, scan it, and go get it. But we also have an update to the DBD board game.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Board game.
There's going to be an expansion pack for the Dead by Daylight, the board game.
Bet.
And this is going to be called the Malicious expansion. This comes with 3 new killers,
The
the
Malicious.
Artist, the Dredge, and the Knight, and
Cool.
4 new survivors, Michaela,
I remember seeing this
Jonah,
like a month
Hattie,
or so
and
ago.
Vittorio. It's also going to come with 2 new maps, which is going to be the Garden of Joy and the Forsaken Boneyard.
That's super
Pretty
exciting,
neat.
and I'm so happy to see the success of the board game. I'm such a tabletop nerd that it's just such good quality, and I'm glad that people are resonating with it. So shout out to level99games.com, which is where you want to go to pre-order it. You'll get it later this summer. Obviously, the DBD merch shop as well is available. You can open it up on your phone with that QR code. You can go to another tab and get some shiny stuff.
Yes, it'll be really nice, especially like you said in the summer, play it outside, touch some grass at the same time. So other than that, if you have any questions about the content we've been dropping so far, 'cause it's been a lot of content, we will have our live Q&A segment at the end of the stream. So make sure you're dropping your questions into the chat. But other than that, roll initiative, because it's time to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Bet.
Poor misguided wanderers.
Yo?
First there were many, and now
Mimic.
so few. How
This looks incredible.
must value your lives.
Are we getting 2 survivors, or is that just how customizable they are? That's definitely an elf. Oh. Oh. That's Wraith's axe.
There will be no quick death for you. No escape from this suffering. I shall draw out your ending as I see fit.
Oh.
For in dark places such as this,
Yup, there he is. God, he looks so cool.
must keep themselves entertained.
That's... Oh, that's so cool, dude. A-Street Yazar. Okay, so... I probably butchered that, but Vecna, bro.
Hello, friends. I'm Mathieu Côté.
Hello, Mr.
Côté.
Côté.
Behavior Digital, and I'm extremely happy to be joined here today by Sean from our friends at Wizard of the Coast, who is going to be with me talking about what we just saw. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Matthew. Great to see you.
Pleasure. We just saw the trailer here. I still have goosebumps. This is so
Yeah.
amazing. Like I was saying earlier, I have
That trailer
inner
was
child
pretty
in me
sick.
that's thrilled right now. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I'm 10 years old, and it's an absolute dream come true. So thank you so much for being a part of that.
Of course, yeah, my pleasure. I 10-year-old Sean wakes up every day realizing that he works at Wizards of the Coast. Dream job. So we're super aligned on that.
So Dungeons and Dragons is probably one of the biggest gateways that people have had to how to craft stories, how to design games, how to create experiences for other people. We've seen it, of course, within the dev team. There's so many people who've got their first taste of designing games through Dungeons and Dragons. Have you seen this to be true with other developers that you've worked with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I always say it's the easiest thing about my job is I never have to teach people what D&D is or what the brand is about, because when I'm working with the developer, I guarantee you the person that I'm talking to has played and everybody on their team has played, or at the very least is like very aware of what the game is and what it entails. It makes my job very, very easy.
Yeah,
I
would
always joke
imagine.
around D&D is kind of this like the building block or like the connective tissue between game designers. You can be at a gaming convention and you're talking to other developers, and if you have nothing else in common, just start talking about D&D.
It's true. It's kind of a common language. There's so many common references there. For me personally, like I said, it's a dream come true. I still play Dungeons and Dragons every week with my group of friends. I'm the forever DM in that group, and
Sorry to
I
hear
know that
that.
there are a couple of other people on my team who were absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. What made sense for Wizard of the Coast to enter into this collaboration?
That's a great question. I think that
I don't know.
Exploring horror is always something that's really, really interested us. Dungeons and Dragons has dipped its toes in horror before. We've got modules like Curse of Strahd. We've got a lot of different horror elements we've brought together in some of our monsters. Obviously, characters like Vecna have been super horror driven. So when the idea popped up on our radar, hey, what do you think about working together with Behavior on a Dead by Daylight module? Like the light turned on instantly. I don't think anybody was. There were no question marks. It was mostly just exclamation points. It's like how do we do this the best, right? Like let's find the coolest character. Let's find the coolest setting. Let's really make this a true sort of celebration of D&D inside of Dead by Daylight and make it a way that feels super native to that game.
Yeah. And you mentioned horror. I mean, I know a lot of people will probably think that their first thought when they think of Dungeons and Dragons is not necessarily horror, but there is quite a lot of potential for horror in there. I mean, it is a very flexible medium to tell stories, and horror stories are some of the stories that will provoke the most intense emotions and reactions in players. So for us, it made sense. Yes.
Yeah. I'm also slightly in the forever dungeon master box that you are. I try to inject a little bit of horror into all the campaigns that I run. I think that it's just a great tool to use to tell stories. If your players never get scared, right, you're probably doing something a little bit wrong. And like you mentioned, Dungeons and Dragons is just a really flexible system for telling stories. At the end of the day, the players and the dungeon masters, you're not fighting each other. You're just there telling a collaborative story about what happens. And horror is just a great tool to include in that box of storytelling. It's D&D hasn't always been, hey, we are a horror game, but the tools are there if you want to do it. And I think some of the best storytellers out there definitely implement those tools.
Yeah, there are many examples out there. Now, why Vecna? I mean, we've seen it in the trailer. He is an absolutely terrifying presence. I think that whether you're a survivor or a killer and you play with Vecna in that game, it's going to be a really, really intense experience.
I really need to know how Vecna plays.
Tell me a little bit, why Vecna and why it makes sense.
For me, the main reason that Vecna was very clearly like on the top of the podium the entire time we were discussing potential killers is that Vecna has always had this horror movie monster vibe to him. I mean, as a lich, he's always had the ability to, you can even kill him and he just pops back up and will come back. It might not be tomorrow.
It
might be a couple of years in the future, but like Vecna's always going to come back. He just has this real
he always comes back,
him, right? You know, it's and the thing about D&D is very quickly in a D&D setting, your party becomes a group of powerful adventurers, right? You're defeating all these other monsters that, you know, like dragons and stuff, and then Vecna shows up and you're like, oh, we need to run away. Vecna's here. Like he's such a scary, inevitable threat in the universe that even his earliest appearances were just items with his name on them, and everybody was wondering, oh, who's this guy Vecna that's got this eye and this hand, and it was just like whispers of this ancient evil that was so powerful you couldn't even print a stat block for him because he was just that strong.
Yeah, it's the terrifying presence that few talk about, but if you've heard about him, it's probably already too late. It's true that it's got that absolute flavor, and he has been part of the Dungeons and Dragons universe for almost 50 years now, right? He was there at the very, very beginning, like you said, as whispers, as just a note in there. But he does have a stat block, and reading it is it's not ridiculous, but it's so much power in those pages. Like, you understand that he is, like you said, inevitable, but also he is able to scare a party of level 15 adventurers who are technically almost unstoppable by that point, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
It's always like, I've lost quite a few player characters myself to Vecna, and you know, Eve of Ruin, we've got the new book coming out.
Not surprised by that.
As soon as you see Vecna, Eve of Ruin, I was like, oh, looks like I'm gonna lose a couple more.
Yeah. But that's part of the fun. That's writing stories with your friends. So before we let Yannick and Dave take us through the details of how we implemented Vecna with the gameplay mechanics of Dead by Daylight, how we presented him to our players, I'm wondering if you have a message for the hardcore D&D fans out there who may not be familiar with Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I do actually, and it's try this chapter out, even if you don't
play the game.
Like, watch somebody stream it, because this chapter, it's a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons from a very passionate.
I love to hear that, actually.
Developers of Behavior. It was super obvious throughout the entire process that, you know, from the sound design work to the animations and the modeling, and like it's I can't stress enough how easy it made the approvals process on our end. That all of this work came in very obviously driven by an incredibly high level of passion for Dungeons and Dragons. If you are a D&D fan, there's really cool Easter eggs in the map. There's really cool Easter eggs all over the place. There's just a ton of love for D&D in this thing. And if you're a fan, there's something in here for you, I promise. Even if you don't think that horror is your thing, give it a try. It's super fun.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Seriously, it means the world to me. Now, I think we'll wrap this up for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today in our anniversary. And I hopefully will see you in the fog.
Yep. Bye. Legion. Still probably like the best chase music in the game. For me, anyway. Wesker's is up there. I should do a tier list. Should I do a tier list? I might want to do a tier list. Maybe. We'll see.
Hey, hi. I'm not Dave. You're not
I'm
Janet.
not Janet.
Neither of you
No,
are. Who
we're,
are you?
Quickly interrupting our D&D segment. There's a lot more. Stay tuned. Dave will be right where I am
All
in
right.
just a second to give you an update on cross progression.
Oh.
So this is
It's
a live
because you
show.
forgot
We're
to
having
do
a
that
live
earlier.
TV moment as we speak. So apologies. You might have noticed, even though I was dressed the same. Our segment with Derek that was just before was pre-recorded, and in fact, we played the wrong one.
You
so
played the
we want to
wrong
give
one?
you more details on
Bruh.
cross progression here. So that's what we're going to do. So take it away, Dork.
Yeah, so cross progression is hands down one of the most requested features every single stream, every single post. You guys are wanting cross progression, and we're giving it to you later this summer.
Finally.
Players will need to own the base game on any platform that they're playing on and have a behavior account. I'm sure you heard me talking about cross progression with an account, and you're like, what is she talking about? Yeah, so make sure you have that, and you'll be able to use cross progression later this summer. We do understand that the website is currently down because so many people are trying to get to the website and make their account, but we're working on it, and we'll have this to you shortly.
Yep, and just as a clarification, in case we have a few folks in chat that aren't aware, Dead by Daylight, this is cross progression for console and PC Dead by Daylight. We're not talking about Dead by Daylight mobile. It's really its own experience.
no.
If you've never played it, it's a different beast from the Dead by Daylight.
Cross progression does
core,
not
as we
matter
call
to
it
me
internally.
at all, really.
Awesome.
But I do
So
understand
along
how
with the quick
massive
drops
this
and
is.
a chance to get What the Fog for free. Players now have another reason for their behavior account and another reason to crash
I
our
do own the
website.
PlayStation version,
So,
but I
like we
don't
said,
really
bear
play
with
it.
us. The site will
I
be
play
brought
it
back up and all this will
mainly
happen.
on PC.
Regarding cross progression, though,
For
any
obvious reasons.
exceptions about in
Because
how
it's the
systems
best
will
version.
work.
Well, while every platform will have cross progression, there will be a few exceptions to what can be shared between those platforms.
Yeah?
But stay tuned. We'll have a full FAQ coming very soon so that you can go ahead and learn more about cross progression for Dead by Daylight.
Cool.
Yep. And as mentioned, now we're going to pass it to Dave and Janik for some great deep details on our Dungeons and Dragons chapter.
Let's go. Right after this transition. I thought it was weird that they forgot to talk about cross progression in that segment because like that seemed like the most obvious spot to talk about it, and then they just didn't. So it turns out they just didn't play the right thing. That's funny. Let's go. I mean, you already revealed it, but now it's time to talk about it. What do they do? What are the perks? What's the map? I need the details. Show me.
All right. Thank you, Dork, Eric, for this cross-progression information, just to prove that we are live. So we're super excited today to be able to talk about the Dungeon and Dragon chapter. I am Dave, creative director on Dead by Daylight, and I'm joined by my good friend, Janik.
Hello, Janik Never, principal game designer on Dead by Daylight. Today I'll be talking about all the intricacy of the gameplay on this chapter. But first, a little mention. Dead by Daylight, 8 years, introducing Dungeon & Dragon. It's a big milestone for us, but we're not the only one hitting a special milestone.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Dungeon & Dragon turns 50 this year.
It is
and
pretty
we are
crazy.
super proud and happy to be part of the celebration. We just want to say that maybe when we turn 50, we do something else with you, Wizard of the Coast. Or maybe sooner.
Yeah, we'll probably be in retired home, but we'll be glad to join
Yeah.
the party.
Potentially.
So first, Dungeon & Dragon in Dead by Daylight. I have to be honest here. The first time you told me about what's going to be coming next, I was surprised because I'm a big horror fan, but when you think about horror, Dungeon & Dragon is not the first thing that comes to mind. But thinking about it more, I realized, no, wait, there's a lot of horror in Dungeon & Dragon.
There really
and
is.
Ravenloft being
People
my favorite
were
module.
way too quick to judge
like,
this
you
chapter
really
for not being
specifically,
horror.
Focus on certain element of the brand. So please tell us about those pillars.
Yeah, so when we start a chapter, we always have a sandbox created so that we stay, around some specific pillars, like you said. Of course, when we think Dungeons and Dragons, the first thing that comes to mind is a magical world, high fantasy, magical creatures, wizards, magic, all sort of things that don't necessarily fit exactly well into a horror setting. But because D&D is a world of imagination where we can create whatever we want, there's also a way to make it happen. So for us, the first pillar was to make sure that we had a good juxtaposition with fantasy, so fully embracing that type of content, but make it horrific as well. And like you've seen in the trailer, having a character like Vecna made perfectly sense for that horror setting. The second pillar is creative role-playing. So in the image of Dungeon and Dragon, we wanted to make sure that players had a lot of agency, a lot of choices. So that goes from an amount of spells you can choose from in the power, which we'll talk about later, or even customization. So a way you can, kind of create your own character in some way. We just wanted to make sure that we had a lot of gameplay choices in the DBD trials. And the last pillar we worked with is chaos. So that's actually one of our main pillars in Dead by Daylight. But, a lot of what happens in Dungeon & Dragon is based on randomness. You throw a dice, and with critical success, critical fails, and everything in
Bro's
between.
gonna actually have us
you
roll
see
a
the result
D20 to
and
do
you adapt
gens.
to it. So we wanted to recreate that feeling inside the Dead by Daylight trials.
That's gonna be funny.
Yeah, Dungeon Dragon is really about exploring a fantasy world, but
That would
also
be really funny,
thrill
actually.
about what's gonna be the monster you're gonna meet the next time you open a door.
So let's talk about that killer you'll meet the next time you open the door.
Please.
So of course,
Let's
Dungeons
get
and
to it.
Dragons has a lot of iconic monsters we could have chosen from, a lot of iconic villains as well. And with our friends at Wizard of the Coast, we've established that our next killer would be Vecna. Vecna is just a perfect fit for Dead by Daylight.
He really
He's
is.
a lich, so a powerful wizard.
And that design is so good
turned
compared to
himself into
all
undead
of his
to be able
other
to continue
designs.
His villainry, is that even a word? I'm not sure. So he wanted to continue to do his horrible stuff for
Bro,
as
looks
long as he
like
could.
skinny
Vecna
Thanos.
also has access to every spell in the books. So that was very interesting for us to create an
You're gonna be
interesting power.
ranged.
Of course, we also have a survivor in the chapter. So the Bard.
It's a Bard.
A very interesting class. There's
Hell yeah.
many classes that we could have
Hell
chosen
yeah.
from, but the Bard was really the one that fit the most into our horror setting. For example, when we think about a class like the Paladin, you think of the ability to turn the undead.
I guess Bard
magical
does make the
sword,
most sense.
Big plated armors, and all of this doesn't fit really well into the world of Dead by Daylight. The Bard, with abilities like Bardic Inspiration, the ability to sing, to play musical instrument, to know lore, and even to insult the villain, is just
Funny way
so
of
on
telling me
brand
they're gonna
that it
have
was
a
perfect
boon.
fit. So that's why we chose the Bard. As you've seen in the image and the trailer, we're doing something special with the Survivor. It's akin to what we've done with Legion. So through the customization, you'll be able to choose between two specific characters inside the same Survivor. So you'll have the choice between Istree, a female elf, or Bermar, a human male. Yeah.
It's interesting, but when I was younger playing Dungeon Dragon, like in my friends group, the Bard was not really a class that people tend to play.
True.
Compared especially to other class that you had, but throughout times, like there's been many change and iteration on the class, and has now become like such popular class to play. Really fun now, definitely, and has become kind of an emblem to Dungeon Dragon as much as a Red Dragon now.
Absolutely. Every party nowadays has a Bard. And we've also seen a lot of Bard love into other content that Dungeon & Dragon produce, like the movie, for example.
Yeah, so we have an Undead Wizard, we have a Troubadour. Do we have a new map?
Absolutely. We're super proud to have a full chapter for the anniversary. And shocking no one, the map is a dungeon. Absolutely. So in the Borgo realm, we have a new map with a new
It's in the
building.
Borgo realm.
So there is a
Oh,
top
that's kinda
part
cool,
set
actually.
in
Hold on.
the marvelous new lighting of the Borgo realm. And you can find this isolated tower in the middle. You can go inside and go into an extensive dungeon underground packed with surprises and Easter egg related to Dungeons and Dragons. The goal with this map is that we've imagined that Vecna, knowing about different realms and plane, now trapped into the realm of the entity, would find a place to make his own, to make his home, his lair, and so that he can study where he is, the world, the entity, and potentially find a way to escape, maybe not. We are also introducing a new gameplay mechanic in this map called Passage. So these are basically doors magical doors, which you can use to teleport from one area to the map to the next. And we think
That's
it's going to
kinda
add
cool.
a new interesting spice to chases.
All right.
The map, the Easter egg, it's super fun. Like if you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, just exploring, you're gonna be thrilled to see all the small and the big one. On the gameplay side now for Vecna, so the way we tackle or approach the killer this time, interestingly, it comes from a game, so he has game mechanic that are pre-existent. So we look at all like stats block and try to come up with like the best spell that could be translated into game mechanic for us, and also make sure that these will be like thrilling and exciting to use. But then, so definitely he's a spellcaster, a very powerful one. So the goal was to make him feel as such in our game. But like I was saying, magic, it's something that we have never really tackled, not that way before. Something we've tried to.
There's magic in the
stay
game,
away
but not
from,
in the
like,
sense
our
of what they're
powers are
trying to
really
do now, I'd
visceral or,
imagine.
like grounded as much as possible. It's something that do you want to talk about a bit? Magic?
Yes, please. I hope some of our team colleagues are laughing right now. I kind of have a bad rep internally about magic. It's almost a taboo word that we can't use. But now making a D&D chapter, for sure we had to embrace magic. And of course there is a space for magic in our games, but it has to be taken with the right tone. So in this case, we're talking necromancy, blood magic, magic of the dead.
Necromancy, you
there's a touch
say?
of realism and
Okay.
visceralness that we wanted to add to magic.
Now you've got my
versus
interest.
something more flashy like a magic projectile or a fireball, for example. There's also something quite
I don't
interesting
care
out of
how
Dungeon
big the
and
room
Dragons,
is.
and these are the utility spells.
Instead,
They're spells that are not
fireball.
used to kill or damage, but they're used in very creative ways. And we wanted to highlight that with the Lich, with Vecna. So that was our approach. Now, do you want to talk to us about the spell that we actually chosen?
Sure. So you have access to 4 different type of spell. Pretty much any time they have their own individual cooldown. But so the first one is called Fly, a very popular, well-known Dungeons and Dragons spell in our game. It lifts up the killer, and you're pushed forward. Obviously faster. So it's really the traversal aspect of the power.
Oh, that's sick. Hold
It
on.
lasts for a short amount of time, and it's going to also end if you vault a pallet or a vault location.
Okay.
And this is really useful to get closer to Survivor and get to the next gen as soon as possible. The next one is called Flight of the Dam, which is it's not really a Dungeons and Dragons spell. It's more connected to Vecna. It's an, actually an ability that he has.
That's really
what it
cool,
does is
actually.
that
Hold
it
on.
Cast 5 different individual projectile, and then it shoots them in a cone radius effect in front of him. These projectiles pass through obstacles. They don't go very far, but if they hit the survivor, they get damage instantly.
Okay.
It might sound very powerful
Short range
and
damage.
easy to use, but it's not the case. Survivor have a lot of counter, but the spell can also be used to zone in this aspect, so you can also go for the basic M1 attack during that time. The third spell is called Dispelling Sphere, which is actually it's a combination of different existing Dungeons and Dragons spell. We just felt it was more compelling to combine them into one spell. So what it does, you cast a large sphere in front of you, and that sphere moves slowly throughout the level. Survivor do not see that sphere, and if they get in contact with that sphere, they get revealed for a few seconds by Killer Instinct, and also have their
Those for
magic items
information.
disabled
Okay.
for a minute.
Magic items,
and
wait.
the last but not least spell is Mage
So he's
Hand,
going to have,
very
I guess that
well-known,
explains why they're adding that
Dungeons and
little
Dragons spell.
info
What
overlay.
it does in the
Yo.
Vanilla, you, as the killer, you can tag up a nearby pallet.
That is
And if the
sick.
pallet
Wait.
is upward, it blocks the pallet for a few seconds. Cannot be interacted by Survivor. And if it's downward, it's lifted up for you so you can fully pass without any obstacles.
That's really cool,
so
actually.
The idea with this killer, he has a lot of tools and tricks.
I had
in his
an
bag,
idea for
and it's really about managing
a killer
all the
being
force
able to
spells,
reset
the
ballots
cooldown,
just to go
and
through them.
Try to activate
that's
them
basically
at
that.
the right moment. So that's really how you're going to improve as a killer, is learning how to use them at the right time and be efficient with them.
So lots of strategic and tactical choices here.
Correct.
So you've mentioned very quickly during the Dispel Sphere the magical item.
Did I? Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. So this is the new toy for Survivor. It's called Magic Items, but keep in mind it's not an actual items that they use. So this time, if you face Vecna, you're gonna have Survivor
it's not one
gonna
you can
have
bring
7
in
different
humans.
chests that's gonna spawn throughout the level. Survivor go interact with those chests, and while during the opening of
Ooh.
the chest, there's gonna be a D20 dice roll. Yes, it's Dungeons and Dragon. We couldn't do without the dice roll. So this
Yes.
dice roll will determine the content of the chest. So if Survivor roll from 2 to 4,
I
they
love
get
that.
a basic Dead by Daylight brown item. Sorry.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, well, maybe that brown medkit might save your life. I don't know. But the fun part is when you roll from 5 to 19, that's when you get the magic items. And the way it works is that
What if you
each
roll a
Survivor
1? Is it a
has an
mimic?
equipment slot, two equipment slot. They have the bracers and the boots. So there's 2 type of magic items, and each magic item is going to be randomly linked the first time you open the chest to one of the 4 Vecna spells.
Okay.
And so once they are equipped, each time the killer will cast the spell that is linked to one of your magic item, you're going to gain a passive bonus to help out, avoid the spell or help you out against Vecna in general. So to be more precise, so if you have bracers against the fly spell, you're going to see Vecna's aura during the traveling while you use the spell. If you have a boots, for example, against the Flight of the Damned, you see the aura of the projectile, very useful because the projectile goes through collision, and the best way to use that spell is through walls. If you have magic items against the Dispelling Sphere, survivors see the sphere, so they can juke and go around the sphere as much as they can. And if you have a counter against the Mage Hand, you see the aura of the hand on the palette, and also gain a little haste effect, so that helps you out around the loop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Pretty cool.
really important to search those chests.
Yeah,
It actually
correct,
sounds
'cause,
fairly balanced.
The way that we tackled this,
Obviously, we'll have to test
the
it, but-
balance in this case is that we made sure that the magic items do not trunker the killer's power. It's made or balanced to face survivor who have them equipped. So if you don't get those, definitely the killer might feel a bit oppressive. So it's really up to survivor to get to those chests and equip them as soon as possible.
Right. And just to be clear, you can also equip a normal item with that. So you can have your flashlight, bracer, and boots.
Correct. It's a very
Cool.
different slot.
So everybody heard you talk about a lot of numbers here on the dice, but you've not mentioned the critical fail, 1, and critical success on the 20. For people that don't play D&D, these are like events, the best event that can happen in Dungeons & Dragons when you get that critical fail or that critical success.
I'd
So
imagine
what
there's a
happens in
reason they
Dead
didn't
by
talk
Daylight
about it.
when that happens?
Yes, so we have critical roll in the game. If you roll a 1, you get, a big nothing. Although I've heard sometimes people get a green key. I guess
that's
lucky
that's
you.
better,
That's basically nothing.
But I know what you get if you roll a 20. So anyone who's familiar with Vecna in the lore of Dungeons & Dragons, there are 2 very specific artifacts that exist that is called the Eye of Vecna and the Hand of Vecna, and we introduce them in our game. So you roll a 20, you get one of the 2. You never know. But these works more like a normal item, so you have to pick them up and use them once. It's called Attune, so you merge with the items, and then you unlock a very powerful ability up to like perk level.
Okay.
Yes, it's very strong. I guess
Alright.
you want to know.
But
what
please
it
do
is?
say.
Okay, sure. So if you attune with the Eye of Vecna, they use with lockers. So if you fast exit a locker, you're going to be unseen, unheard by the killer for 15 seconds. And on top of that, you gain a haste boost effect. And if you attune with the Hand of Vecna, you fast enter a locker and you're going to be teleported further down further locker.
Wow.
So very powerful.
That's actually pretty
I
cool.
forgot the little details because they might sound super strong said like that, but they come with a cost. So to use them, you have to be full health. And once you use them, you instantly lose a health state. And also, at the end of the effect, you get revealed by Counter Instinct. So be very mindful the way you use them, because we've seen a lot of situations where it backfire at the survivor.
And it's not really get out of jail free. There is a cost.
A spell to help him out, get back at the survivor, and get the down.
So it's very on brand with what a cursed item should be.
Indeed.
Well, thank you so much, Yannick. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff coming with Vecna. And
we're not going to talk about perks.
No time today to talk about anything more about the killer perks or the survivor.
Okay.
But I have to say very quickly that
I guess
the survivor
we'll
perk will allow
check
you
those
to
out
create illusions,
on my own.
To perform on the loot. You can even perform with
I thought you said you weren't going to talk about perks, bro.
Melody. There's also a dice roll mechanic for one of the perk. So if you want more information after
Thanks
the show,
for the follow, Kat.
you can go on
Much
our
appreciated.
website, deadbydaylight.com, and get all of the details you need. Merci encore, Yannick, for all the information. And thank you so much to all of you. Happy anniversary. And I'll be passing it back to Eric and Dork.
We'll be checking out the PTB when it drops, which is God knows when at this rate. It does seem really interesting so far. Like this, I'm convinced this might be the best patch they've done in a hot minute. And that's aside the actual chapter. Everything else has been pretty cool so far too. The other things they've announced.
Oh my god, Dungeons & Dragons and Dead by Daylight.
Stream volume is real. I can't do anything about it. That's literally the max volume that I can do.
DM on occasion. Forever player, as they said in
I
the
don't.
interview.
I can't turn it up any further unless I boost the game.
Never a player. Please make me a player.
You must be so psyched.
So psyched. I'm so excited.
It's maxed out. I'm sorry.
I just cannot wait to see what we have in store and to go against Vecna.
Hopefully people have noticed your dice necklace.
My nice D4. I got okay. But yes, just like Dave said, don't forget to head over to deadbydaylight.com right after the show for the full breakdown on Vecna and all of his powers. You'll also be able to see the perks that we've got for him and our bard coming into the fog.
And also, don't forget to ask questions in the chat when you're not spamming nonsense garbage. Ask real questions, and we'll answer them later in the Q&A. You don't need to say claim. Please stop saying claim. You're not claiming anything by saying claim. Stop.
But we appreciate your enthusiasm. But next we're going to be...
encourage them.
Well, I'm going to be joined by Dave Richard back on the couch for him to walk us through the ever-expanding world of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, please. More information. I would love to know where this year's going to go, because it seems like it's going to be insane. I'm really just waiting for the PTB to drop, though, so I can start getting that installed. Ooh. This beat. That kind of goes hard.
Hey, I'm over here now.
Oh, you are.
So I'm super excited for this part of the stream because not only do we get to talk about 2 upcoming projects within the world of Dead by Daylight, that being Supermassives, the casting of Frank Stone, and an
been waiting for news on this
multiplayer PvE game by Midwinter, but we get to do it all with Dave Richard. So, Dave, can you please tell me why we chose these games to be the right games for us to expand the world of Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff going into that choice for sure. So first of all, we are super happy and grateful to have a community already there playing Dead by Daylight. So of course we listen to what they want to see, what they want to play. So that comes into the recipe of the choice we're going to make. We also want to make sure that we will create something new to experience, something that's completely out of what we are used to in Dead by Daylight. So that comes into the genre we want to create. Also, we want to interest new players into the world of Dead by Daylight. Some people that never heard of Dead by Daylight, but also some viewers that are interested about the world of DBD, but that don't play DBD because maybe it's not their style of game. So we want.
That's how
also
I
these
was
players
before I
to
actually
be
started
with us
playing.
and
I was
experience
super
world
into
of
the
Dead by
lore.
And just like you were saying, with people
I
being
just
interested
couldn't
in
stand
the
playing
world
the
of Dead by
game.
Daylight, as the
But then I
creative
actually
director,
started playing
why
it.
do you think there's so much interest in this, in the lore of a multiplayer game that's based in action?
Well, it's been very important for us since day one when we started working on this project. The story and the narrative around everything we create. We want to make sure that every little component in DBD has a story and a reason to live in the universe. We take great care into making that happen. So, there's a lot of mysteries within mysteries, a lot of layers to our narrative, which I think are super interesting and players want to know more. So these games will allow us to discover these elements.
Right
that we've
after
seen in
Artist
the
came out?
past. Like
It was right after
every
Dredge came out
killer
for
and every
me.
survivor
My
in
buddy
Dead by
Devin
Daylight
got
could
me
have
into
their
it,
own movie or
and
their
he's
own game,
since stopped playing it for
Yeah,
the
we've
most
got
part.
so
But you
much
know,
lore, it's really amazing to
clearly
just
I got
dive
addicted.
into. And speaking of lore, I mean, this is something we want to expand on with the world of Dead by Daylight. So we're doing that in one of our upcoming games, The Casting of Frank Stone. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Right, I can tell you a little bit.
I was gonna say, are we ever gonna see anything about this game?
Of course, there's different type of stories
Ever?
in games, right? There's games that have a static narrative that you experience. That's great. There's also games that the narrative is made very organically by the players, like DBD is a good example of that. The Casting of Frank Stone is somewhere in between, right? It's a game where there is multiple narrative, and based on the player choice, and
Oh, it
different
is going
things
to be
will
affected
happen,
by what we pick.
based on their
Hell
choice,
yeah.
different endings and different branching in the story will happen.
All right.
So the Casting of Frank Stone is very interesting for us because it brings the origin of a killer and potentially survivors, and the players are able to play that for the first time. Some things that we are used to see as a lore or a bio or a tome entry in DBD now will be playable. It's still in the Entities universe. It's still very much part of the world of DBD, but it's going to be out of the trials. So that's going to be an interesting take on our universe.
Okay, so we know that the Casting Frank Stone is still in that realm, but what about our other project, this unnamed multiplayer PvE game? Is that also going to be taking place in the Entities realm?
Absolutely. So it is in the world of DBD. It is in the Entity. And one cool thing about the Entity is that we know very little about exactly what it is, but we do know that it's a living universe. It is huge, and we can't really comprehend everything that's happening within it. So we know that DBD trials are a way for the Entity to feed. It's a very kind of organic process. So we can imagine that there are other parts in the Entity that serves other purposes. And that is exactly what we want to explore. So that allows us to create new narrative, new ways to experience a game, new gameplay opportunity, new set of rules. So these are things that we talked about in the past and that we always wanted to explore. So that's exactly what we want to do with this new Untitled game. So in a way, the world of DBD that we've created is like a book with infinite pages. We can add new stories to it forever, hopefully.
Just keep on reading.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you did talk about that, and is there any gameplay that we'll be able to see?
That we'll be able to see. Well, yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, thank you,
Please
Dave,
show
for
us.
talking us through that. But now I want to see the gameplay. Let's
Yeah,
see the
me too.
gameplay.
Please give us the gameplay. Hey, buddy.
Hey everyone, I'm Audrey, lead producer at Midwinter Entertainment. Last year, we gave you a very small glimpse of a project we started working on set in the Dead by Daylight universe. I'm happy to say that we have more to share with you on this game codenamed Project T. Instead of showing you a close to final game with some polished gameplay, we wanted to let you in on the development process. Right now, Project T is a work in progress, more than a fully fledged game.
Ooh.
Our goal is to craft an experience with all of you and create something that you would be eager to play. Let's hear more about Project T with our creative director.
Hey everyone. First I want to say what an honor it is to be working in the Dead by Daylight universe. We love DBD's multiplayer thrills, and its dark, mature setting brings just the right kind of tension and danger for a game like this. In Project T, you play as trespassers, rough and tumble characters who have been whisked away from their realities and trapped within the entity's realm. There, in a vast region called the Backwater, they discover they must work together if they're to have any chance of survival. And of course, they're not alone. The Backwater is home to horrific monstrosities known as the Thrall. These terrors come in many forms and have different deadly abilities. Their origins and nature are unclear, but they certainly don't take kindly to trespassers within their domain. To achieve your objectives, you'll have to battle the Thrall with every weapon at your disposal.
The world of
Yeah,
Project
this is
T
definitely
called the
different.
Backwater. It's a unique place, another twisted realm within the entity's grasp. You'll be eager to explore this familiar yet ominous world, and it'll definitely give you the creeps. To add even more tension to your experience, we're building the Backwater as an ever-changing landscape, which offers a lot of possibilities gameplay-wise. To navigate the Backwater, we're thinking of adding trucks in the game. Since it's a pretty big area, you would need a way to go from one point to another while escaping the hordes of Thrall. But there could be other uses for the truck. That's something we're thinking about, and we'd love to see what kind of ideas you might have. As DBD fans, we're having a lot of fun creating this new experience as part of the Dead by Daylight universe. DBD is all about horror, and we want to make sure we're crafting something that horror fans will appreciate, from the different biomes of the Backwater to the look of the Thrall.
Pretty cool.
Project T is still in early development, but that doesn't mean you'll have to wait another year to get more news. We're looking to get your opinions and share information, so we're creating a platform called the Insider Program. This is a place where all the players excited about this new take on the DBD universe can gather and be active participants in the development of the project. As an insider, you'll not only get exclusive information, but also in-game rewards and even the chance to join our closed playtests and give us your feedback. Join us to help shape an experience you'd like to play and make Project T the best that it can be. See you soon.
I don't think it's gonna have to do with this. More likely casting a Frank Stone, because they did say that game is kind of like the origin for the killer and survivors. So I'm assuming it's gonna be that. But who knows? It could be entirely unrelated. Oh. Speaking of.
Cedar Hills is not exactly a noted hotbed of criminal activity.
What is that?
That's not entirely true. There was that whole serial killer thing.
Why do you hate Cedar Hills so much? Used to be like town mascot.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present The Mill.
Spend enough time in my line of work, you realize every place has got its demons.
Think that belongs to the boy you're looking for?
You can't shoot a movie in here. This is a condemned steel mill, Mr. Rivera. I suggest you immediately vacate the premises. And you do not, under any circumstances, set 1 foot back here in the Cedar Steel Mill. Ever.
Such a joy to see young people so passionate about the arts.
Everything's all right.
Oh.
Either of you heard of Murder Mill?
Well, that was the entity.
There was a whole string of disappearances. Kidnappings, really. Murders. So what was this guy's name?
Ooh.
I don't think the police ever found this place.
Clearly not.
Whoever did this might still be here. We can't stay, okay? We gotta go.
Whoa. That was the Huntress's mask.
Cut! When you make dangerous cinema, you walk a dangerous line.
That's coming this year. I can't wait for that. I'm gonna be doing a playthrough for sure.
Such a cool trailer.
Right? Some chills there.
Did I see a
Frank
hunting
Stone.
mask?
You did.
Bringing it. Murder Mill? Does that
Murder
seems
Mill?
familiar? Fans might know that one.
True, actually.
Super cool. It's so cool to see the way that the DBD universe is expanding.
Oh, yeah.
And, I want to mention Project T. You saw a mention of the Insider Program. So that's our team is there waiting for you on Discord. So you can join the Insider program to get up-to-date information on Project T and get involved in it and be part of the game's development. It's really the idea there is we're making the game with the community.
I'm definitely a lot more excited for Frank Stone.
With Project T,
but
like
you know,
Eric
Project
said,
T
we are taking
could be
this
cool.
idea to a whole new level with making the game with you.
Have to wait and
instead
see
of
how it
just
turns out.
Making it by ourselves. So if you love Dead by Daylight and you want to help with this new session-based multiplayer PvE game and bring it to life, sign up for the Insider program so that you can be in the know and get next steps. You also want to make sure you wishlist it on Steam because that really helps us.
Yes. And so Project T is quite a ways off because, like I said, we actually want to make it with our players. But the casting of Frank Stone is right on the horizon. So Supermassive, as hopefully folks know in the chat, they're just an amazing developer of single-player narrative horror games. And now we're bringing Dead by Daylight into that genre. And it's just so cool to finally be there. And it looks super terrifying. It looks super crisp and polished and awesome. I can't wait. So as you mentioned, wish lists do help a lot. So if you would do us a kindness, kindly give us a wish list, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, and speaking of Dead by Daylight, the PTB, I know a lot of you are itching to get into that. That will be at 1 p.m. as a reminder today instead of 12 p.m.
Oh,
so
that's
be
why it's not out
ready
yet.
to download that so you can go ahead and hop in and test out the new chapter.
I can't wait to see people's reactions to all the things that are
Oh,
in this
yeah.
chapter.
I cannot wait, especially for the locker one. I'm so excited for that one. But as we said, this is, we're getting pretty close to our live segment where it's going to be the live Q&A. So we'll have Justin, different Justin from Eric's Justin, come out to talk about this year's Twisted Masquerade in-game anniversary event.
Let's hear it.
Back again. This time I'm joined by Justin Banks, our senior product manager. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back.
Yes, welcome back to the anniversary show. And what would an anniversary be without the Twisted Masquerade, right? So the Twisted Masquerade is back. It happens every year during our anniversary in-game, and Justin's here to talk about it. So what have you cooked up this year?
So this year we got some amazing stuff. Honestly, I think it's our best anniversary event yet.
I mean, they announced the stream for 11 EST, so
that is
pretty
going to
safe
be
to
some
assume
extra
everything
stuff
else
right
is
at the
EST
stream.
as
So
well.
For everyone who's watching, once this is over, go play. And we've got lots of really cool stuff as a big thank you to all of the players. It's really stuff from all of DBD's history, and it includes a lot of presents.
I love presents. I know you love presents.
I love presents.
The community probably loves presents too.
I think
Details?
So, the details about said presents. We've got lots of login rewards, so lots of currencies for players to earn just by logging in whichever day throughout all of this. We've also got 2 recolored outfits, one for Meg and one for the Huntress, that players can earn through each week. So each week you'll be able to earn a different piece of this, so if you log in just once each of these initial 3 weeks, you'll get the full outfits.
Are you going to show us what they look
It's a really
like?
cool way to get your hands on some cool outfits. Now,
Probably
each
not.
of these initial 3 weeks is going to focus on a different period of DBD's history, so a different collection of years.
Ooh.
What that means is that we're going to
Actually,
have
that's kinda
map
cool.
boosts and outfit sales of character outfits that were released during those years. So we really want to take you through this history with us. We want to celebrate the history of DBD.
That's really cool.
Then the cool stuff that I think everyone's really going to dig is we have some currency boosts, a different one for each week during Before the Masquerade. So for the first week, we have a blood feast. So 3 times the blood points. During
Oh,
week
and that
2,
starts today.
We're going to have 3 times the rift fragments. So if you want to progress towards the rift, this is a very good chance to do it. Then during week 3, we've got 3 times the XP. So
Oh, it's that
again, if you wanna
outfit for
progress to the rift,
Huntress.
this is also
Okay.
Good, but this is a really good chance to earn some iridescent shards.
Damn. And then
bear
after
one.
D&D releases, the last week and a half we'll be doing double XP and double blood points, right?
Nice.
We're doubling down, yeah.
So everyone can play the new chapter. They can get hyped for the Masquerade. They can nab some of the older anniversary charms as well. Is that true?
Exactly. So we want to give people a chance who haven't earned them during previous years, to celebrate the build up to the event itself by earning, like some really cool Masquerade crows or things like that.
Awesome. Okay, so what about the event itself?
So the event itself, now that we've tackled before the Masquerade, the big new thing that is coming for this year's Twisted Masquerade is the reveal of the host of the Masquerade, Trix herself. So
Cool.
players might have seen her hinted at during previous anniversary events or during outfit descriptions.
That's the Mad
referenced as
Designer.
The Mad Designer or Zizzletrix. So she's finally making her appearance. And throughout all of the event, we want to make it very clear, like, this is her party. She's everywhere. She's the entity's biggest fan, celebrating, holding this party in its honor. And she's not a playable character, so we want to make that very clear. She is there pushing everybody
I didn't
to
think she would be.
engage and celebrate.
I love that. So does this mean we're going to see a lot more of her in the Twisted Masquerade?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of the UI that is themed. You might have seen some last year, so we've done a lot of updating for that. We've got Father Campbell's Chapel coming back with the whole party taking place inside. Some updated content in there to show that the party is progressing or dying slightly. You might find some corpses. Then, in addition to all that stuff really permeating the game, we've got the lobby, the loading screens. She's going to appear in trials. You will hear her laughing
be in
at
the
you or
game.
cheering you on around the exit gates. There's really voice lines that's going to appear everywhere, really accentuating the gameplay. It's going to be amazing. Like we loved hearing all of the voice lines that we have had recorded for this. With all that stuff, like we've got a lot of really cool gameplay that I'm going to talk about in just a second. But one thing I wanted to mention is that all of our event gameplay now is going to take place within a separate event queue. So if you want some of the normal DBD, like in the core mode, you can have that. But if you want the event stuff, go over to the really cool event queue and take part of Trix's, Twisted Masquerade. And I have to say as well, if you go to the core mode, it's still going to have a lot of the decorations, so you get the vibe with the core experience.
And that's a really good quality of life improvement over last year, right? Like giving players that option to choose, if they want to just do classic Dead by Daylight, they can with some extra flair on it, or they can choose the event queue. That's a nice improvement. So you mentioned it. So what are some of the gameplay changes that are coming with Trix?
So Trix is bringing what we call her bag of tricks to the party. She wants to spice things up. She wants everyone to have a lot of fun. So what we've got is that as a match progresses, one of a series of abilities, one of a tricks, is going to be played on our players. And these are going to be things like giving everybody haste, giving people undetectable, spawning anniversary special chests or totems, some really cool stuff that's going to spice it up. And this is going to happen whenever 2 points are accumulated during a match. So at first I'd say one tricks actually takes place at the match start. Following that, whenever 2 points are accumulated from doing a gen, first hook, things like that, which each gives 1 point, that is then going to trigger another tricks to maximum of 5 during a match. So we want to really keep things interesting. And when the tricks is actually activated, you're going to see Trix herself appear alongside or take the spot of one of the dancing marionettes. She's going to even deliver a line that hints at what has been played. So if you're not paying attention, she's going to give you this really cool audio cue.
That's awesome. And so in addition to all of that, I think we're also doing some sort of update for the invitation mechanic.
Yeah, absolutely. So the invitations last year, we had players run around, gather those, and you could either spend it to use an ability while inside a chase, or escape with it to help you earn a mask. This year, there's no need to escape with it to earn a mask. That's a different thing. And we've even added outside of chase abilities to the invitation. So if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to always be chased by a killer or wants to have a more diverse use for it, we've added that. So survivors can now go into quiet mode, so making a lot less noise, and can even do things like quickly enter a locker without alerting the killer. It's super useful to get out of that chase right away.
That's fantastic.
Or if they're nearby.
That might be annoying.
For killers, they can now use an invitation to immediately send a downed survivor to a nearby hook. And
that,
as I can say from playtests, it's really fun.
I think the community is going to love that. Can't wait for them to play, but also I think there's challenges we've added so you can earn masks, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this year, earning all of the masks.
They're just talking about the Masquerade event coming up, about how it's going to be slightly different, new abilities.
Like this, that's going to be
nothing too crazy.
The rewards.
Except for killers being able to hook people without actually picking them up.
In the store last year are also coming back, So if someone was not able to get those during previous years, those are all now going to be available inside the store for the duration of the event. And I have to say that we have also a licensed guest showing a mask this year, a Mr. Detective Tap.
Amazing.
Tap's getting a
Amazing.
mask?
That's so cool.
Look at those masks. Those are fantastic.
There they are. Heck yes. Fantastic. Good lord.
Wow.
Um,
First
so it
licensed
wouldn't be a
character
party
getting a
without lots of
mask.
Awards. What can you tell us about the
These look
event
sick,
tome?
actually.
So we've got a few staples that are coming back that we've done and seen huge success with in the past for the event tome. One is the community challenges. So we know people love to play together towards earning things, so we've got a lot of those. So if people engage with the event, work towards those targets, hit their own milestones, I think they're going to earn some really pretty cool stuff. Also in the event tome is some really interesting lore about the Observer discovering Trix's world. So if you want to know a little bit more about her, play those challenges, earn that lore.
Okay.
Then we've got some really cool stuff. I have to say the Twisted Masquerade is one of our favorite collections to work on every single year. As soon as the art team's concepts hit the table,
Who's getting
or
outfits this year?
I guess the monitor screen these days, we're like enamored with them. Like, we love working on this collection. So this year we've got 2 new 100% earnable outfits that you can earn through the event. We have one for Bill Overbeck, another licensed guest making his appearance in the Masquerade, and one for the Unknown,
Bill!
who is maybe trying to blend
I
in
just
a
hit
little bit at the
P100,
party.
bro. That's like I'm being
In
celebrated.
addition to all that really cool
Oh,
stuff,
that's awesome!
we've got some Trix-themed charms and player cards that people can earn. Now, obviously with Tap's mask making an appearance as a reward,
Why am I tearing up a bit?
there's someone who accompanies him. So if people check out the in-game store during the Twisted Masquerade, they'll be able to find a really cool event-themed outfit for the pig.
Yeah,
Now,
there
we
it
are
is.
huge fans of this. I mean,
That is
it's got so many
sick.
touches from the Saw franchise in
Oh,
there. I
that's
think
so
it's amazing.
cool. What?
Big fans were on the edge of their seats hoping you'd say that. Amazing. So we've covered a lot. Are there any last presents for the players that we haven't mentioned?
So there's a lot already, but we've got more.
Oh, that's
So,
dude.
the same as previous years, we're giving
This
out
is my
lots
year,
of
bro.
daily rewards to players. So there's going to be lots of currencies, like more blood
This
points,
is
more
my
rift
year.
fragments, more iridescent shards. We're going to have a huge login calendar throughout the entire event. People are going to be earning stuff no matter what they do. And for the first time, that no matter when the player logs in, we're going to give them enough event currency to get a single reward from the event. So
Nice.
as soon as you log in, we want to get you started and start enjoying the party.
I love that.
I never thought
Players
I'd
are
see
gonna
the
love
day
that.
Bill gets
Thank
a
you,
new
Justin, for your
cosmetic.
time.
Oh
all
my
that
God.
detail, so much detail. I hope
Nah,
people are psyched.
I need it.
Just as a note, the event in game starts June 13th, but
I'm gonna be grinding
before
for
the
that for
Masquerade
sure.
event actually starts now, right after this show today. And there is one
Today.
last thing that we have not mentioned. It's all part of this wrapper of celebration, and it actually ties back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, does it?
Oh.
Yes. So very, very excited to say that we will be putting some Dungeons and Dragons Dead by Daylight dice. That's a lot of Ds.
A lot.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Up for sale in the merch store. You can pre-order it right now. It's not available. You can't get it right away, but you can get your pre-order in right away. And in fact, if you do the pre-order in the next 48 hours, you get a discount. Super psyched about this. There's tons of Dungeons & Dragons fans within the office. I'm sure there are in the community as well. So why not put them together with a cool new set of dice? And that is all we have. Unfortunately, Justin, you're done. Thank you for your time.
I was honestly always happy to be here.
So we're going to toss
so
it now
happy,
to
bro.
Dork for our live Q&A, and we'll bring it home. Take it away, Dork.
They did say to make sure to stick to the end, so we're sticking to the end.
All right, well, I've been like teleporting all around today. Now I'm over here. So we've covered so much content today. We've been talking about gameplay updates to Dead by Daylight, the 2v8 mode, the new titles, the Dungeons & Dragons chapter, and obviously with all of this content comes loads of questions, which we will be taking the time to answer for you. I say we because it's me, Dave Richard, and Justin Brown. So let's go ahead and get started. So for Dave, question 1. In the Dungeons & Dragons segment, you mentioned 2 bards and 1. What does that mean? Are we getting 2 unique survivors?
No.
No.
So there is one survivor, same perks, but there is a different customization system around this character. So it's similar to what we've done with the Legion. So
Okay.
instead of having like normal head, torso, legs parts, for the Bard we have head and torso in one piece, the legs in another piece, and the accessories. And so changing the head torso piece, you can modify which character you want to be.
Okay, awesome. Thank
that's
you
cool.
so much. Okay, so question 2, how big of an impact will the Project T Insider program actually have on the finished game? I'll actually go ahead and take this one. We really want this project to meet player expectations at launch, so we want to make an open dev route, and this will allow us to proactively check in with you, our community, and fine-tune the game as we go. We'll be actioning insider feedback the whole time we're
Popped in
building the
Spooky
game.
was stream at that point. He was like, "Oh, I wonder which is gonna get picked more."
Be highly considered throughout the
I
entire
don't know, man.
process.
I couldn't tell
So
you.
thank you. Question 3 for Dave: will we see any existing Dead by Daylight characters in the casting of Frank Stone?
Ooh, well, I don't want to spoil anything. I can say that the game features a new cast of character. They're original. It's an all-new story, but there are a ton of little things here and there to discover linking to Dead by Daylight for the fans.
Okay, thank you. Now you got a little treat. All right, our next question, question 4 for Justin. In 2v8, you said that there will be classes for survivors, but not exactly for killers. What does this mean, and will
Too many
more
thirsty
killers be added in the
DBD people out there. Fuck you mean?
I'll start with the easy one. Yes, of course, there will be new killers added. Each iteration we do after this first one, we strive to add a few more killers as we move forward. As far as classes go, it's something that we're still really waiting for. There's a possibility we do something like a class system, but we're going to wait until we get this iteration into your hands and work with your feedback and see where we take this mode.
All right, thank you, Justin. Question 5. What is the difference between a game mode and a modifier for Justin?
Okay, it's just like what Matt said. A modifier is really something that takes a little piece of a standard trial and sort of adjusts it, like a darkness effect, maybe changing how fast or how many generators there are to do, or random perks. A mode is something that's going to fundamentally change the way the game's played, something really big and all-encompassing, something like 2v8.
All right, thank you. Again, Justin, I got a question for you. Question 6. Can I duo killer with my friends in 2v8?
Absolutely. You can queue up with your friend. You can get on Discord and talk to them and play killer together.
Okay, so I'm super excited for that. That's going to be amazing. All right,
Yeah,
our
2v8
next question.
being
Can
in this
we
game
play
might be the
two
most
of
hyped
same
thing.
killers in 2v8, Justin?
Aside the Bill outfit for me.
No. The easy answer is no, you won't be able to play two of the same. You'll be able to mix and match between the 5, but two of the same killer will not be available.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine hearing both chainsaws revving? Like, oh gosh, overload. All right. Question 8. I didn't get my blood points from grade reset yesterday. Will I get them back? I'll go ahead and answer this one. Yes, we're working on refunding the missing blood points to players, and you should receive them within
timing?
the next few days. Really sorry about that. Question 9. Can achievements and trophies be earned in the 2v8 mode when it releases, Justin?
The simple answer is yes. There are no specific 2v8 achievements.
Baby
or
coming.
trophies,
Ah, yeah, true.
but if you're making progress towards one that already exists, like how many generators you have to repair, progress is still made towards those
All
trophies.
right, thank you. Question 10. Are there plans to keep 2v8 permanent after some iterations?
Please tell me it's going to be permanent.
So this is something we're still working out. But I can tell you for sure in year 9, it will not be permanent at any point. It's
All right.
going to be an ongoing discussion. It's going to depend sort of the engagement level, the feedback we get from you, and when we feel the mode is fully ready before we continue those conversations.
Mm-hmm. So when the mode is active, make sure you are playing it, okay? Do this for us. So other than that, what is What the Fog couch co-op or online co-op only? I'll answer this one as well. What the Fog is online co-op only, available as soon as we find a fix for the website. Really sorry about that, but thank you so much for trying to claim the game right now. All right, question 12 for you, Dave. Is Matt Mercer voicing Vecna?
Good catch. He is. We're super
Yeah,
excited
baby.
to have Matt Mercer bring Vecna to life in the trailer, in game.
It's awesome, especially having one of the kings of Dungeons and Dragons coming and voicing Vecna. What a treat.
Absolutely.
But we don't have any other questions. Thank you all so much for submitting your questions, no matter where you are watching from. And thank you so much, Dave and Justin.
That was short.
Regarding cross progression, just going to fill this in really quickly. We also want to reiterate that we can't share specific plans just yet, as we are still finalizing the last details, but rest assured that as soon as we are clear to do so, we will, and we plan to also push out a public FAQ. So once the FAQ is posted, we'll announce it across all of our channels for your full awareness. Once again, a big thanks to everyone who submitted questions, and we hope these answers were helpful, and we'll be talking more about this stuff in the next coming months. As a last gift for our players, if you're already signed up for the Dead by Daylight newsletter, you'll receive 250k blood points. And if you are not, you can still register until May 15th to get that sweet, sweet reward. And another big thanks once again to Justin and Dave for sticking around to answer all of these amazing questions.
So if I sign up for
since this is almost the end of our show, we don't want to
newsletter
forget that
on
the
multiple
BTB goes
emails
live in 22 minutes. So now we're going to have Eric and Matt here on the couch one more time to wrap up the show with one final surprise.
What do we got? If they save something for the end specifically, it's got to be good, right?
All right. This is it. This is the end. We've made it to the end of the show. It's been a great show. It's been a long show, and we thank you for sticking with us. We had so much to tell you about, so we had to do it all. But thank you so much. And look who's here to join me on the couch over there.
Mr. Cote.
Matt, welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Well, nice of you to make it.
If he's here, it's got to be something
sure.
big.
I mean,
Eventually got here.
Yeah. Well, I was a little late. Had some surprises to work on. It's always something.
That's true. But I think all the surprises are wrapped up for now. Thank you again. Hopefully you'll join us on one of our upcoming streams. We're going to keep these rolling. Maybe you'll join us on one of our upcoming streams.
I mean, the surprises are wrapped up. She just said there's a surprise.
Thanks, everybody.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Yes?
I just want to say before we leave, so the people who have been with us until the very, very end, we have one last surprise. For
I was going to say, get out of here.
Close the show with a surprise. It's a bit of a tradition nowadays. So this summer, we are going to be welcoming yet another legendary set of characters into the fog.
Dumb and Dumber?
I don't think we're supposed to say that. Featured in over 30 games, an animated series, an absolutely unforgettable soundtrack.
Oh, it is Castlevania.
More. We hope you are as excited as we are to welcome into the fog this classic franchise.
Oh, they're going to just reveal it. It is Castlevania. Fuck yes! They're like, nah, I got leaks. We're just going to show it. This isn't a tease. That's full-on Dracula. Hell yeah! Bro, I can't wait. That's a hell of a way to end off this stream, dude. Holy. Man. This might be the best year. Just need to sit down and watch Castlevania. I don't think it's going to be based off the show specifically, just like Castlevania in general. But who knows? They literally just showed Dracula. That's all we know. If it's based off the show, then Trevor's gonna be the survivor. If it's not, it's probably gonna be Simon or Richter. Who knows, though? Yeah, it's about 20 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is actually stop the stream for now. I'm gonna go get lunch, and I'll be back on later. I was going to just do this all in one stream, but I don't feel like sitting here for 20 minutes doing nothing. So I will be back on probably in an hour or so, give or take. Of course, I'll post again when I'm going live. I was hoping the PTB would have been out by now, but yeah. I'm gonna stop here for now. What a show, man. What a show. I'll catch y'all later.